In ancient China, students don't actually go to school and take their exams. Instead, at the end of their education, they come here to take their exams. And once they're finished, if they're very good, and they will have a top job. If it's low, then a low job. And if you don't actually get it, well, you failed the exam. You won't actually be able to have a job. So, in the ancient times, instead of using standard books like what we do today, they use these parchments. So the teacher read out stuff that he or she writes and then let these students repeat. This is how students in ancient times learn. You can see that metals are very different too. Instead of the gold, silver, and copper that we see today, it was instead made out of wood. And these look very different from what standard humans think of these metals, since most of us think as them as something that you can wear. But in ancient times, they're something that is light but valuable and has a lot of extra detail. Long time ago, instead of using standard pens like today, they used something completely different. Brushes. So, how did they make it? Or something else like grass that prehistoric humans used to pen stuff with mud. So, in ancient times, people sell stuff by carrying them, just like what we do today. Instead of using motors, they use manpower. There are different types of things that they can use to carry more battery tools. And some are very light, such as these, and some are very heavy, such as those. And some can be small but valuable, like this. It could be diamonds, silver, and copper. And some can be buying stuff to go to the markets instead of actually having stuff to sell in the markets. And some is selling books. They really like to read books because they're the elderly. They have a lot of experience and are most commonly named very intelligent. We uncover what the people are doing, but what is this? It's not just anything normal, but it's something that is special. Wonder why it's special then? Well, here's why. This is the wall of wishes. Each one of these red cards has some kind of wishes and writes in different languages where the people is from. Usually it's Chinese, but some can be English too. Some can be very fancy from rich people, and some can be medium from household people. But after all, this is a very special scene, and the wishes in here, some will come true and some won't. But likely, if you're a student that is going to take the exams, it will help you a lot, since it will give you encouragement, thinking that they will be sent to gods like what the ancient people did. And a lot of people attend these exams. These successful candidates will get medals, as we know. But what will they do to celebrate? Well, the government holds these ceremonies every year. It's just so that the successful candidates are able to wear flowers on their neck and wear blue robes and gather together at the lobby. So, we'll actually see if the exams are right or wrong. After all, these students couldn't just, take the exams by themselves, and they will likely cheat. So there are some special officials that will actually do the job and report what the marks are for the students and who are the successful candidates and who failed the test badly. Entering the map room. And why it's called the map room? Because it has the map of China long time ago in Qingdao, around 1,000 years ago. That is. So, in the time of Qingdao, Chinese map is very, very large indeed. It's bigger than what it is today. Indeed, there's people talking about it, about where the enemies are and where their own forces at, and how to defeat them. This map room is very helpful in successes with the Qing dynasty. You see what's on the picture? It's a famous people. Well, wonder what guy it is? It's Kongzi, a very famous Chinese human. And why he's famous? Because his influence affects the world. Not just China, but the entire world. Many sayings in English and Chinese are said by Kongzi. Very influential people. Do you think so? Well, I do think so, since he was such an influence that even people outside of China knew him as a celebrity. There is a lot of artifacts from the Qing dynasty, and a lot of them even have writings on them too, since how well made they are, they manage to stay on a piece of stone. And that's why we know that it's an artifact. There is even bows from ancient times, having their own patterns. It's a very unique thing to have. And all the types of stamps that the Qing dynasty used to spread knowledge clearer than just copying books by handwriting. And a lot of them are full of detail, and some of them can be worth millions of dollars. You can see that this is a very complex stone with a lot of different patterns on it. There's dragons and these stuff that seem to represent, well, high cliffs that stretch just very high. And there's even holes for water to come in. This temple is the second largest temple that's honored Confucius. Confucius is one of the most respected philosophers in China. So, the people that honored him built large temples for him. The largest of these Confucius temples come from the place that Confucius lived and died. But this is pretty impressive, since the building looks so small from the front gate, meaning that it covers more square meters than you think it is. And plus, they even got a huge lake and the huge statue of Confucius, showing that this is a temple that is honored for him. This is the result of students that passes exams and the ones that don't. You can see that there's writing over here. This group of students shows the sense that everyone, since that exam, look at the impersonal examine results after it's one nonsense and displays various behaviors of those who excitedly spread the news of their succeed in the exam and who failed the exam. We know that some people get their exams right, but there had to be a best of them all, and that's the one who's writing the course. He's gonna be a new community leader in this community because of his knowledge and intelligence. There's people celebrating for him, dancing for him, even raising flags and marching beside him. celebrating his new approval of being a community leader.